The Billionaire's Wives Who Disappeared. A story by E.B.'s Heart. Chief Ocone announced that he would be taking a fourth wife. Everyone was shocked and wondered what an almost 90-year-old man with many children needed in a new wife. But some mothers lined up their daughters for Chief to choose. He eventually chose a young secondary school leaver from a struggling family. Her name was Lara. Chief established Lara with businesses and gave one of his houses to her. Within 6 years, Lara gave birth to 3 children. She shopped in the best shops in the world, and the other wives showered her with praises and love. Then, 10 years later, rumors started circulating that Chief had died. News outlets and bloggers all carried the news, even Lara announced it. The other wives told her to announce it, and she did even without seeing Chief's body. Then, 4 months later, Lara was still waiting for the date of the burial when she was told to come to the main family house that their lawyer came to see them. Chief has been buried. He was secretly buried by his kinsman, the lawyer announced. So, I am here to read his will, the lawyer said and started opening his file. Lara was surprised but happy. After all, she was sure that she would get something out of Chief's properties. But the only thing the lawyer read from the will was, Chief gave Lara his biggest mansion in the city. The lawyer read out and closed his file. The wives danced and clapped for Lara, but Lara was confused. What about the others? She thought silently, fighting the urge to ask aloud. Chief had so many properties. Why were they sharing only that one? You will move into the mansion tomorrow, the first wife announced with a fake smile. Tomorrow? But what is the rush? Lara asked, smiling back at her. Because that is what Chief wanted. He wanted you to be well taken care of. As his last wife, he loved you more. And you have to move into the mansion alone with your children, no visitors, no friends, until after the 1-year mourning period, the first wife, Madam G, said and still smiled at her. Because in our culture, wives don't come out when mourning their husbands. Lara accepted and left. Lara's mother was very happy that they gave Lara Chief's biggest mansion. After the mourning period, you can sell the house and use the money for more important things, Lara's mother said and laughed on the phone. Has she moved in? Madam G asked her personal security guard on a phone call after 2 days. Yes, Ma. She has moved in with her children. Good. Now we wait, Madam G said happily. 2 months after moving into the mansion, Lara was on a video call with her ex-boyfriend, making plans on how they would sell the house and travel abroad with the money, when she saw a face peeping through the curtain in her room. She quickly cut the call and looked well, in order to be sure she wasn't seeing things. But the face continued looking at her. Who is there? Lara asked and started trying to dial a number while shaking with fear. But when she looked up again, the face was gone. She dismissed it and decided to rest a little since it was afternoon and the weather was hot. But when she lay down, she felt hands carrying her from the bed. Put me down, she screamed, but they carried her to the sitting room and said, Welcome to the family. You will join us soon. Lara looked up and saw young women her age with children in chains, crying. She woke up almost 2 hours later and sighed. So, it was a dream. But what kind of dream is this? She sighed again. I will tell my mother to come and stay with us, at least until this mourning period is over. I can't stay alone in this big house with only my children. We still have some months to complete the 1-year mourning period, Lara thought. And I don't understand these strange things that I am beginning to see all of a sudden, she said as she picked her phone to call her mother. But on the night of that same day, as Lara was sleeping with her children, they came, the occupants of the mansion. They were living in the mansion, and Lara and her children were meant to join them soon. They were crying and walking in circles around the sleeping Lara. She didn't even wake up. Her spirit was becoming weak. The next day, Lara woke up to hear the toilet flushing and the tap running and stopping. She panicked and ran to her phone to call someone, but there was no network, it was out of network coverage. So she decided to look in the toilet herself to see who was there. As she was moving closer to peep, she was hearing voices and cries that sounded like her children's cries. So she ran inside and saw something unbelievable. Madam G, Chief's first wife, and Tessie, his second wife, were both dressed in black. But what they were doing was the scariest thing Lara had ever seen. She screamed and tried to run out of the toilet but received a heavy blow to her head. Then she turned to look at who was hitting her on the head and was shocked when she saw the person's face. "Chief," she whispered slowly and fell. Chief and his wives killed Lara and her 3 children, then used their blood to bath Chief. "Yes, I am renewed again," Chief said happily. They brought out Lara's cloth and other personal belongings outside and burnt them. Chief was meant to stay inside that mansion without coming out for 7 days. In that 7 days, Lara's ghost, which was in chains, would be cooking for him. He would dine with his previous dead wives and their children within that 7 days. Lara came out and saw Chief eating. She wept bitterly. The other dead wives and their children were inside the house in chains, crying. Chief stayed in the mansion for 7 days and became renewed and refreshed like a 40-year-old man. He had been marrying young women every 10 years since he was 40 years old, and the plan was to remain 40 for life. And as long as he continued doing what the devil had told him to be doing, he would remain 40 years old for life. He colored his beard white to confuse people, so that they wouldn't wonder why he didn't age at all. On the 7th day, Chief Okone held a press briefing to say that he was alive and never died. "I only suffered a heart attack, and to test my wives, I refused to tell them my state of health. But my last wife failed the test. She absconded with my dollars, gold, and other valuables. She even sold the businesses I established for her. As I speak now, she is no longer my wife but a wanted person, because I have reported her to the authorities. She and one Mr. Jess, a young man whom we believe was her ex-boyfriend and she has been cheating on me with him, ran away together. I am not chasing after her to get her back as my wife, but I am chasing after her to get my 3 children back and keep her behind bars for being a thief." Chief's press statement, and even the reward he offered to anyone that would find Lara, immediately circulated the whole country. The news outlets and notable bloggers were paid handsomely to spread the fake news well. Lara's mother heard the news of her daughter missing on the news. "That's not possible. Lara cannot run away without telling me," her mother. "We tell each other everything. Besides, she doesn't know anywhere. How can she possibly abscond?" Lara's mother cried. Her other children tried to expose what happened to their sister, but everyone called them a family of gold diggers. Lara's mother became scared for her and her other children's lives when she started getting threats from unknown numbers to drop the case. The more she talked about it on her Facebook page was the more they threatened her. It's been 6 months, and this wretched woman is still talking about her daughter, Lara. I want her to shut up for good. Take her son and make her apologize before releasing him, Chief Okone said to his men. Within a few days, Lara's mother agreed that she knew that her daughter ran away and that she had been communicating with her. She apologized to Chief Okone online and begged everyone to plead with him not to prosecute her. Her video sparked outrage, and everyone blamed her even further for raising her daughter wrong and trying to taint the image of a well-respected wealthy man. Lara's mother even relocated back to their village on the order of Chief Okone. She was in the village, where no one wanted to associate with her for being a greedy mother, crying one evening when someone drove into her compound at night. "A lady. I am a private investigator, and I need your help to investigate and expose Chief Okone." The lady was still talking when Lara's mother started shouting that Chief Okone had sent someone to harm her even while she was hiding in the village. Lara's mother told the lady to tell Chief that she had left the case and would never mention his name again. But the lady calmly held her hand and said, "Don't you want to know what happened to your daughter, Lara?" Her question touched Lara's mother, and she wept bitterly. "I want to know. I cry every day, knowing my daughter is being accused wrongly. Then tell me everything that happened from the day Chief married your daughter until she went missing," the lady said and sat down with pen and paper. "What do you think you can do?" Lara's mother said as the lady was about to walk away after listening to her. "I am going to be his latest wife soon. When he announces that he is taking another wife, the lady said and walked away. That night, Lara's mother slept with hope in her heart. A few months later, Chief Okone announced his intentions to marry again. And again, mothers lined their daughters up for him. But this time, the private investigator was chosen. "My name is Gift," the investigator said while bowing before Chief timidly. She hired poor farmers to pretend to be her parents while she wore rags. Chief, who goes for beauty and poverty, quickly chose her. He noticed that her parents were also very timid. Within a few months, Chief married Gift in grand style, as he always does. Everyone had forgotten what happened and started envying Gift. Chief did the same things he did for Lara, for Gift too: businesses, houses, but one thing was seriously missing. Gift couldn't conceive, or refused to conceive. Chief couldn't understand why a young woman of barely 20 years old, or so he thought, couldn't get pregnant. And since having children was part of the ritual, as their blood would be used to give Chief his eternal youth, Chief was not happy. 3 years later and Gift was yet to conceive. Madame D and the other wives, whose lives depended on Chief's immortality, became scared. Chief took them through a ritual when he married them. He made them swear to always protect his image no matter what, and that any day the ritual failed and he died, they would die with him too. They were meant to believe that their lives were tied to Chief's own. This was why they facilitated the killings of Chief's young wives and their children every 10 years. Before Gift married Chief, she did long-term family planning so that she wouldn't get pregnant. Chief didn't know that Gift was the younger sister to the woman he used for ritual 10 years ago, before Lara. Gift, who was 30 years old, pretended to be young, 20 years old, in order to be chosen by Chief. She had been following the story of Chief's missing wife, Lara, because she wanted to find her own sister. Her sister's death killed her father and younger brother, because when Chief told her family to apologize publicly or face his wrath during her sister's time, her father didn't listen, which led to her younger brother's death. Eventually, her family apologized, but they never forgave themselves. Her father eventually died of heartbreak, and Gift vowed to find her sister, expose Chief Okone, or die trying. "We are going to see someone," Madame D told Gift on the phone one morning. Gift became scared but called the news agency she was working with. "They are taking me somewhere tomorrow, so you guys should be on standby. I will wear the glasses that have a camera and microphone so that you can easily record what will happen there." The next day, Gift was picked from her shop by Chief's driver to a house in the middle of nowhere. When she got there, she saw his 3 wives in front of the house, dressed in long black gowns with hooded caps. Gift started sweating and wondering if she would ever get the justice she was looking for, or if she was going to die. When Gift entered the house, she tried to stay as calm as possible, because fidgeting would make them know she was afraid of them. So she smiled while chewing her gum loudly. "This is the 4th year of this marriage, and you are supposed to give me at least 3 children before the 8th year. Why are you not getting pregnant?" Chief asked Gift in a very loud voice. Gift smiled nervously and said, "I don't know, I have never been pregnant before." I. She was still talking when she heard heavy footsteps coming down the stairs of the big living room. "Yes, you know," the voice roared. Gift turned to see a woman that was unusually tall and almost naked, coming down the stairs. She watched as Chief and his wives stood up to bow down and shouted, "Welcome, Ghazala." Gift turned her face well so that the camera on her eyeglasses could capture the strange-looking woman. But the woman suddenly rushed towards Gift and bit her on the face. Gift felt dizzy and passed out. She woke up in her room later and looked at the time. It was 6 a.m. the next day. Gift stood up and saw that she was dressed in her pajamas and wondered how come. She remembered nothing. She looked for her glasses but couldn't find them. She started fidgeting and crying. "What have they done to me?" she asked herself and called her colleagues. "Did you capture something?" Gift asked them in fear. "Captured what?" "The camera has been blank all through, and we felt you were sleeping and didn't go anywhere, as you said." Gift started crying and sweating again. A knock then landed on her door. She ran outside to see Chief and his wives smiling at her. The doctor is here to check your fever and run some tests on why you were vomiting. Fever? Vomiting? Gift asked them in shock. Yes, the doctor is here for a pregnancy test, Madam D said, smiling at her. Gift was still in shock when the doctor took her blood and ran the test right in front of all of them. You are pregnant, the doctor said, smiling at Chief. Chief stood up and lifted his hand while thanking Ghazala, the woman they visited the day before. Gift ran to the toilet to look at herself while crying. What have they done to me? What have they done to me? She cried. From now on, you don't leave this house until you give birth. The baby you are carrying is special, Chief said as they locked Gift inside the house and instructed two hefty-looking men to guard her door. Within 1 week, Gift noticed that her stomach had grown so big, as if she was 6 months pregnant. I will never let them win. I need spiritual help, Gift told herself and started calling her colleagues again. But she noticed that her colleagues don't respond to her well again. They started sounding like she was disturbing them. Sometimes they would even ask her who she was on the phone. This continued for 2 months, and Gift couldn't reach anyone. She didn't want to tell her mother, who had lost so much and was not even aware of what she was doing, so she contacted Lara's mother. I am dying, Ma. I need a powerful man of God to pray for me, even if it is on the phone, Gift said, crying. Lara's mother, who was still hoping to see her daughter through Gift, ran out fast to meet the only pastor in her village. Pastor Emmanuel, please pray for this lady. She is helping me to look for Lara, my daughter, Lara's mother said while handing over the phone to Pastor Emmanuel. Pastor Emmanuel prayed for Gift, but at the end of the prayer he said, you are not carrying a human being, but a child conjured by a demon. Mix water and salt together, kneel naked at midnight, pray over it, and drink it. He also gave Gift some verses in the Bible to pray with. When you are done, drink it and that thing in your stomach will disappear, Pastor Emmanuel said and still prayed for her again. Gift did as she was instructed the next day, but nothing happened. She did it again, yet nothing, the stomach continued to grow. She tried calling Lara's mother again, but her number never connected for days. Then, one midnight, someone tapped Gift and said, pray, pray now. Gift got up and did the same thing, then she felt dizzy and fainted. She woke up in the morning on a hospital bed and saw Chief shouting angrily, time is running out, and she has lost the baby. What am I supposed to do? We can do IVF, the doctor suggested. The doctor was also part of their dark secret. IVF can give you 3 children at once, and they will be your flesh and blood too. Chief smiled and accepted the offer. Within 1 year, Gift was already heavily pregnant with real 3 babies. She was watched all the 9 months she was pregnant, and the babies were brought out. When Gift saw the babies, she vowed to protect them with her life. Who would have thought that I will have my 3 babies at year 7? So I have 3 more years to renew, Chief thought happily. Gift finally relaxed and was allowed to go to her business and visit people again. Within the 3 years, she visited Pastor Emmanuel in Lara's mother's village severally, and together with Lara's mother they planned on how to destroy the mansion together with Chief. So, on Gift's children's 3rd birthday, a call came into Gift's phone. Chief is dead, the caller said, wailing. Gift cut the call and called Pastor Emmanuel and said, Chief's first wife just called me now that Chief is dead. Get ready, the battle is about to start. We have just 1 year to destroy all of them, Gift said over the phone without fear. Gift secretly took her children to Pastor Emmanuel for baptism while she waited. Exactly 4 months later, Madam D called Gift to come to the main family house. The lawyer wants to see us, she said to Gift on the phone. Come with the kids too, she said, and cut the call. Come with the kids? Why should I do that? Gift thought as she paced about. I will go with the kids, but I will make sure to leave with them, Gift said fearlessly. On that day, Gift prepared her children and was about to leave to the main house when Lara's mother called her. Do not go anywhere until I and Pastor Emmanuel get to your house, and send your address to us. Gift was happy and scared at the same time as she immediately sent her address to them. She didn't want to be late. She felt that being late might arouse their suspicion, But she had to wait. This is a matter of her life and that of her kids. By the time Lara's mother and Pastor Emmanuel could get to Gift's house, Madame D had arrived with her guards and the other wives to take them by force. "This is a family meeting, and you don't keep us waiting," Madame D said with a fake smile. "We felt you were having difficulties preparing the kids," the second wife lied. "She is up to something. I always feel she is aware of what is going to happen," the second wife whispered to Madame D. "Then we will force her in and double her security. Nothing must go wrong, our own lives depend on it too," Madame D said and marched into her car. As they were about to drive out, Gift sighted Lara's mother and Pastor Emmanuel across the street, trying not to be seen. She shouted, "Oh, I forgot to give the kids their medication. They have been stooling," she lied. "Oh no," Madame D said angrily while telling the driver to stop the car. The car was stopped, and she ran back, entered the house, and left the door open on purpose. She came back with a bottle of medicine and gave the kids to drink. "I left the door open for the both of you," Gift typed and sent to Pastor Emmanuel on her phone. So, when they drove far away, Pastor Emmanuel and Lara's mother sneaked into Gift's house and hid. When Gift got to the main house, as expected, the mansion was willed to her. She also asked about Chief's burial in tears, just as they expected her to. "Chief has been buried by his kinsman," the lawyer lied. "You are to move into the mansion latest tomorrow. This is Chief's wish, and we must obey it," Madame D said with fake tears. That night, when Gift got home, she noticed that 2 hefty men were already guarding her door. So she called Madame D to ask why she had extra security. "You know Chief was an influential man, and his enemies might want to come after you or any of us, so you will need extra hands until the mourning period is over," Madame D lied. That same night, Gift, Lara's mother, and Pastor Emmanuel started planning on how to fight them. "Since they insist that we the wives don't step outside during the mourning period, I will suggest that you and Lara's mother should follow me into the mansion, so that we can use prayers to fight from the inside," Gift said. Lara's mother agreed. She always believed her daughter must be tied down somewhere inside the mansion, but Pastor Emmanuel was a bit scared. He felt they were walking into a trap but trusted God. On that day, after thinking of how to smuggle Pastor Emmanuel and Lara's mother inside the mansion, Gift decided that they should both enter into a big separate travel bag so that she can put them in the boot of her car. They both reluctantly agreed since that was the only possible way to follow Gift into the mansion. When they arrived at the mansion, Gift was shocked to see another 4 hefty men standing in front of the mansion, waiting for orders. So immediately Gift drove into the compound. The men gathered around her and were removing the things that she came with, until they got to the big bags. "What is inside this bag? It's so big," the men complained. Gift quickly told them that it was some of the goods her customers had paid for, and that she brought them home to find a way to deliver them to them. She told them to leave the bags in the booth, that she could always get them later. Gift drove her car unusually closer to the door so that Pastor Emmanuel and Lara's mother could easily come out and enter the house. They both sneaked inside the mansion at midnight. Once Lara's mother entered, she heard her daughter's voice. "Lara is here," she shouted while running around the rooms looking for her. But the house was empty, with only furniture that seemed too clean and warm, as if someone was using them. That night, Pastor Emmanuel told them that they all needed to stay awake and pray. "The air in here feels so different and suffocating. If we sleep, we may never find ourselves again," he advised. They all stayed awake and prayed until morning. "We will sleep in the afternoon but never at night. We will do this for 3 days, and everything that is hiding in this house will show itself." Due to the prayers, Gift never saw any strange face following her or any dream where she was taken to somewhere else. She was safe. Then, on the 3rd night, as they were praying, they heard crying and screaming in the parlor upstairs, and they all ran up to check who was crying. That was when they saw them. Chief's former wives Chief had used before. They were all sitting at a place on the ground, crying while their hands and legs were chained. "Lara." Lara's mother called out her daughter's name. Lara turned and shouted, "Mother, help me. I am tired. I am so thirsty." Her mother ran towards her to hug her, but it was as if she shifted further away. Gift also saw her missing sister, crying and begging to be helped. But they couldn't get to them. They are in another world, caged and chained for life. Their souls were exchanged for Chief's. We must let them go and find peace. Once we do that, this mansion will crumble and Chief will also crumble wherever he is hiding, Pastor Emmanuel said and started going from room to room. There must be a powerhouse, a place of sanctuary. Once we find it, we will destroy it. He told them to go on their knees and call on God. They all did and prayed for hours. Get the water and salt that I asked you to bring along, Pastor Emmanuel said to Gift. She quickly brought them. Pastor Emmanuel mixed them up, and they began sprinkling them all over the mansion. Now we wait, Pastor Emmanuel said and sat down. No one should sleep except the children, and you must call their names from time to time even as they sleep, Pastor Emmanuel said. Around 6 a.m. on the dot, the women in chains appeared with their children. Pastor Emmanuel, Lara's mother, and Gift all watched their chains break and fall off from their hands and legs. One by one, they all disappeared into glory. It is almost over, Pastor Emmanuel said happily. They started hearing cries and screams all over the house and the sound of cars flooding the compound. Chief just arrived with Gizala, his personal demon. When I got there, Gift suggested that they should all escape, but Pastor Emmanuel refused and said, "This house is now a trap for them. Let us wait in here for them to come inside." Immediately Chief came inside the house with his demon. The screaming ghosts chained him while his demon disappeared. "We need to leave now," Pastor Emmanuel said, and they all ran out of the house and ran as fast as they could out of the compound. The men on guard didn't see nor hear them. It was as if they were not even aware of what was happening. That was how Chief died and his soul trapped forever inside his mansion. He was also rumored to be screaming in pains in all his properties across the country, making it impossible for anyone to live in them. His wives were surprised that they didn't die with him. They never knew that the swearing he led them to swear was just to tie them down with fear, but the voices of the dead women echoed in their heads every day and haunted their lives forever. Gift made the news public, and everyone was shocked to hear that this was Chief Okone's life. Young girls and parents were advised to be careful with whom they give their daughters' hands in marriage. Chief's entire property was left in ruins because his cry was heard inside them every night. When a wealthy man wants to marry you, a struggling girl from an average family, ask yourself, why is he marrying me? What is he going to gain from the marriage? Do not let the flashy things he will be showing you blind your reasoning. There is always something hidden behind all that wealth and flashy life you see. Because in this life, there is no shortcut. You can only get what you deserve.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.